Chapter 13.
You're certain we're in the right spot, old boy?
Sully stared worriedly at the black-clad death squad. The man in red sniffed the air. Buzz dropped us down in the right time. It is 21:21, correct? He looked at the Jadoon squad. They stared back at him silently. He continued, I'm going to say we sat down in the perfect place to observe the Perseids, but something got in the way.
Something?
Yes, the alien answered. That something was a Jadoon battle fleet cruiser. The leader of this Jadoon guard, a muscular, towering rhino form, whom had ordered them to remain exactly where they stood, stepped forward and stared downward.
You are Associate Designate, the Traveler?
The man in the scarlet suit looked up. Yeah, if you like. How do you know my name?
That's not your name.
Shut up, Sully.
I know you.
The Jadoon leader grunted.
We have met before.
Really? When?
In your future.
Oh. The man in red waited for an answer, but the Jadoon leader stopped talking. They continued to stare at each other, as if waiting for more information or perhaps some kind of cue. Nothing happened for a full minute. So, what's up? The Time Lord finally asked. You've been expecting me. Are you rhinos in some kind of trouble? The Jadoon turned and began walking, expecting the two time travelers to follow.
At present, this vessel is off course, stranded in the center of the Perseid shower with no hyperdrive.
I'm not a mechanic. The Jadoon ignored him.
There has also been an outbreak of an unidentified toxic disease.
I'm not a doctor.
We need you to investigate these incidents. Correct them if possible.
The rhino form finished. Excuse me, I don't think so. The man in red held up a hand. Sully, we're leaving. The Jadoon guards, stomping loudly, surrounded Traveler and his retired Commodore friend, weapons drawn. They had little room to move and no way to escape.
This is not a request.
The Time Lord nodded. Then this will not be a favor. Sully whispered.
What does that even mean?
I said shut up, Sully. A black-clad rhino pushed the time travelers forward and they were forced to fall in step with the Jadoon. Where are we going? The man in red demanded.
I will escort you to the bridge to meet the captain.
The enormous bridge of the massive Jadoon ship was brutally and deceptively simple. There were no chairs or tables or workstations as such, only drop-down consoles which jutted from the ceiling that 4 monolithic-sized Jadoon were working on. The retired Commodore noticed there was a 5th workstation, sectioned off from the rest. What also struck Sully was the other half of this immense circular room. Most of the wall space was taken up by a gigantic portal which, although clearly damaged, showed the Perseids outside, overlaid with holographic readouts and navigational sighting displays. It was here that they met the Jadoon captain, not only large and muscular, but also overweight. The head rhino did not remove his helmet. As he spoke to them in simple, direct terms,
We are vastly off course,
he began in a gravelly voice.
and my crew is suffering from what seems to be a ship-wide epidemic.
The man in red took off his fedora. I'm terribly sorry for that, yet
Your companion will be deputized and sent to the lower levels to assist in the cordoning off the infected areas.
the Jadoon kept his right hand clenched behind his back the entire time his visitors were present. The Time Lord noticed this. It appears you won't take no for an answer. He walked over to the damaged, isolated workstation. So I'm wondering exactly when you're going to tell me the entire story. The Jadoon captain, still wearing his mask, barely moved and said nothing. But it was enough for the man in red to know he was right. Pointing at the damaged communications terminal, the alien continued. Your workstations are about as bulky and unsubtle as yourselves, but there's a lot to learn from them. He typed into the crimson arm of time. This console has been completely sealed off from the Jadoon communications. Very large and in of itself. But this, he indicated burns on the smooth metal. It's been destroyed with a Jadoon weapon. Why? Before the captain could answer, the hyperactive Time Lord pointed to the viewing screen. And that portal is cracked. It's pitted. I can see it from here, and the damage was caused very recently. Leaning against a far wall, the Jadoon captain exhaled a very heavy breath.
I have no answers for you at this time. However, you are as perceptive as the Shadow Proclamation heralds you to be.
After another momentary scan, the Time Lord read aloud from his temporal wrist device. Final signal received. He looked up. The last message has been buried deep in the central computer core. The head rhinoform nodded.
Precisely why the architect sent you. We need you to investigate.
The man in red sighed. You need my help. Echoing, the Jadoon answered.
We need your help.
I'm worried.
Sully coughed. What's to be worried about? The man in red asked. Sully looked down at the oversized utility belt he'd been given. A safe marker, which was a huge metal pen that the Commodore figured would probably be used as a melee weapon. He was instructed to mark safe areas with an X and unsafe areas with a square. Next was a stun pistol, again built for the Jadoon. The sidearm was incredibly heavy, specifically designed to knock out prisoners. Lastly, he was given a gigantic Jadoon communicator. It resembled the brick-sized first-generation cell phones from 1990, which included a real-time map of the ship. After the Time Lord's modifications to the device, Sully would, theoretically, be able to search for the cause of the infection.
I'm worried my pants are going to fall off.
The retired Commodore answered miserably. The man in red smiled. Probably going to be a ghost town anyway.
Why don't I get any protective gear? Damn it!
Sully lit a smoke. The Jadoon captain answered.
The disease is currently only affecting Jadoon.
Currently?
The head rhinoform actually sighed.
The disease only affects Jadoon.
That's better.
The retired Commodore replied.
Marginally.
The man in red walked him to the high-speed transport pad. Good luck. He pressed the button.
Wait, you're not coming with?
Abruptly, Sully felt his entire body vibrate. His cells and molecules disappeared, incorporeal. Next came an intensely bright, yet brief light, and a crisp pop sound. The next thing Sully knew, he was in the lower decks, in the bowels of the ship. Dark, quiet, and alone.